All right. Now, them other guys been having some trouble getting this whole season 2 thing going, but they do not possess my powers, my command over time and space. So I think that I'll do a little bit better. But first, welcome y'all to season 2 of Poison Paradise. Gonna be a little bit different stuff happening. Kevin, tell us what we're in for.
Thank you, Marty. It's been a while. Oh, man. It has been several weeks since me and this wonderful group of people got to hang out and play this ridiculous game. Speaking of these ridiculous people, let's get them introduced. Right toot sweet here. Starting next to me, playing Baptiste, we have Ryan back from the abyss. Over in the corner, you might notice a bit of an animated state, or a less than animated state, if I may be so bold, in the far box. Hannah is unfortunately not going to be able to be with us tonight. Much like real world games, it's difficult to get everybody to the table every week at the same time. So she will not be with us this week, but we'll figure it out. Down to the bottom row, Alice, played by Sarah. Yay! Welcome to the show. This is your third game this week already? Second? Third one's later this weekend.
Tomorrow.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And in a very similar boat, next we have Jett, played by Sky. You've got another one last night, one tonight, and another one later this week too, right?
Yep. Got that one.
Excellent. And then, as if to make up for all of that gaming, there's a guy on the end there who is only in this game as far as we know. Lucius, played by Sam Lessman.
It's not quite 11 yet.
Yeah. And so, yes, we are starting season 2 tonight. It is going to be called Hollywood Bound, even though Hollywood doesn't exist yet. So we'll figure out that wordplay as we go along. There are a couple of things we need to wrap up from season 1, but we're going to get to that in a minute.
By the powers of all that is and all that shall be, I command season 2 to begin.
And now, let's go down a new rabbit hole where we find our Poison Paradise party, Hollywood Bound.
Marty prevails again!
Marty wins! Marty beats time and space. Marty won time and space 0. Oh, well done, man. Oh,
so cool.
Oh, I'm glad that worked. And because you guys couldn't see it, you fine viewers at home, I'm sitting here looking at these faces while they watched it, because I believe that's the first time most of you have ever seen that, right?
Yes.
I've seen it multiple times.
I watched it like so many times. I was like, oh, this is so cool.
I couldn't. Ooh, Kevin's voice there at the beginning.
I know.
That's amazing. Like, artistically, I'm hard right now.
Yeah, I get you, yeah. Well, here's another punchline that our viewers
There it
don't
is.
know.
There it is.
This very afternoon, having no knowledge of what just transpired, Ryan sent a suggestion for a new intro video for this half, and it was basically what you just saw.
I didn't know, and it's so
I was laughing
good.
so hard. Okay, so that's the fun bit. Let's get back to the horrifying.
So now the
that
not
makes up
fun
Paradise.
bit.
Yeah, makes up Paradise Lost. Speaking of Paradise Lost, the city, the town of Paradise, or what was left of it to be more accurate, has ceased to be. The only building left is the end of the line saloon, which is now sitting in the middle of an uncut forest with no other buildings around it, no railway lines, no roads, no nothing. Inside that bar is Ellie's uncle and most, of the rest of you. It's kind of where we ended last season. We had Miss Alice, Miss Ellie, and Lucius, and Willie, all at the inn. Willie has left with Anastasia to prepare because they have to leave, because there's no one here to sell anything to anymore. Ellie stands by the door looking out into the gathering gloom, waiting for Jett to return. Because Jett, after helping to defeat Baphomet, wandered off into the woods to have a moment to think. And hopefully he thinks, I hope, to commune with a certain raven. Baptiste, on the other hand, is not there because Baptiste is in hell. We'll get back to that in a second because I want to start with Jett. In the forest, outside what used to be paradise, you wander. Your skin is touchy, painful. You just had every pore of it burned and somehow magically healed again by Raven. You have been dead twice in the last week. And that's not the worst thing that's happened. So, what are you doing in the forest?
I just want to be clear. Did I already wander into the glade and have that conversation?
The very brief conversation with her, yes, where she informed you, did not ask you, but informed you that you were going to California.
Mm-hmm. So,
but after that, she left and you went down the hill with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
They went to the bar. And you couldn't do it.
Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna just start walking through the woods. I don't even really have a set place I'm trying to go. I'm just thinking and walking.
And an unknown period of time later, you're almost in a fugue state. You're almost out of time. You know, there's just, you're hardly stuck in this world anymore. And then you hear a caw. You know who it is. And a flutter of wings, and she lands on a stump just ahead of you. And stays in raven form this time. And tilts her head and looks at you. And you hear the voice in your head. What's wrong?
I don't know. I don't know if you're human. I truly don't. Yeah, I didn't think so.
Nods its little head.
I've died twice. I've been brought back. I don't even know if I deserved that. Whether you want to look at that in a good or bad light. And honestly, it makes me feel like I don't even know what the point is. Why do you keep doing it? Like, don't get me wrong. I love whatever this bond is that we have, but I don't understand it. And I don't know what you get out of it or why you do it. And it's frustrating, to say the least, to be this lost in all of this.
And she shifts, and now she's in human form sitting on that stump. And she looks over at you and says, you're right. I'm not human. And you don't understand what I get out of this. You truly don't. But aren't you happy with what you've got? Aren't you happy not to be dead?
I just don't want to be used.
And she kind of grins. Fair enough. You've seen what others of my type do. You will remember, though, I asked you. because I hope you know I could take you anytime. But I choose not to. I want to teach you, Jett, because you can learn. Not everyone can. Dance with me, Jett. And she switches back into raven form, and she's standing on that stump, and she starts to do a little raven dance, like a little double-footed hop, the flapping wings.
I just take my hat and hang it on some limb or something, and I go over and it takes a minute for me to get into it, but I'm sure slowly as the motions go on, I start like really forgetting and letting it go.
And you feel the weight, that emotional weight start to lift because your body's just pounding, your heart's pounding, the endorphins are rushing through your system. You're pumping, you're being alive and alive and alive. And then she says, be light. Your bones are hollow. Bounce with me, Jett. Bounce with me. And she starts doing that raven bounce. Like, how they only touch they're only this big, but they only touch the ground like every 10 feet.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess I'd try to jump, and I mean,
give me a spirit test for me, please.
Oh Lord, here we go. Oh, you're gonna need a second. I forgot that this game requires me to be in roll 20. Oof.
Oh yeah, and a character sheet. What was your spirit?
It was decent. It was one of the things I put more stuff into.
It was 5D something, wasn't it?
Probably. I knew I was forgetting something, but I will be in.
You know what? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt here.
Thank
there you go. Thank you so much. Oh, I have not. Wow, that the dancing shark thing I hadn't seen before. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Did not remember to make a new alert for this before we added it to the overlay.
It's okay. Baby shark. I don't know what. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Nothing else in this game makes sense. Why should that? Jett, I just rolled it for you.
Okay.
You start to bounce like she does. And you feel yourself start to shrink and get lighter. And your arms start to stretch and spread. And your eyes start to see differently. They can see better in this dark. But your point of view keeps getting closer and closer and closer to the ground. And you're hopping along behind her and you're flapping your wings. And she turns around and looks you right in the eye. And you can see in the reflection of her beady little raven eye, you as a raven. You look behind you and all your clothes and all your gear is in a pile on the ground. That's important. It's different in this game.
Yeah, there's that instinctual look down, just like, oh.
Your feathers are covering your shame. But you are a raven. And she says, fly with me. And she just turns around and poof, gone, flying off into the sky, just jumps up and woof.
How the hell? Yeah, I mean, I guess as much as I can think to make that work, I'll try.
You leap up and flap your wings once, and you try and control it, and you almost plummet. And then you just sort of shut the human part of your brain off. It is still there. You are still Jett inside this creature. But you shut that thinking part off and just let the body do what it knows how to do. And you're flying in the forest. And she is leading you between the trees, wrapping up, stalling, dropping back down, almost taking you out of the sky like fighter pilots. She flies past you and just rips like 2 feathers off the top of your head with her claw on the way by. And no matter how hard you chase her, you can't catch her. But you are a raven.
That's crazy.
Come back down, Jen. Come back down, Jett, and land.
Okay. And yeah, I come down. How is this even? How?
I powered it for you that time. Don't get me wrong. You did it. But I powered it. This takes a lot of energy, Jett. But you can stay in this form for, well, about one of your hours.
I don't understand, because sometimes I know sometimes we dance and I can feel it happen, and I know that if I mark myself down that I can do these things, but I don't. How does that work? What am I? How does that translate to this? That I don't understand.
Think of it as paying for a service. You asked what was in it for me? When you wound yourself to gain power? I get that. When you dance to gain power? I get that. There is nothing for free in this world, Jett. You are paying for all of this.
Okay.
Switch back. And she's human.
I guess I think human thoughts.
Yep. And boom, you are Jett, stark naked, standing in front of this lady. All your stuff on the ground behind you.
There's just a hand to the branch.
That, yeah. This is going to work, but I may never wear this hat again. You cover your shame.
He's holding the hat up.
Yeah, with no hands.
hands.
You weren't the only one that was thinking that.
Oh, God. Also, who said it's shame? Maybe I'm just too proud.
Well, I guess that depends on whether it's showing from behind the hat or not. One other thing, though. We're not done yet. As you change back, she says to you, "Why do you think you're weak?"
I think that there are a lot of things about being human that are weak. We have, vices and we die, and sometimes we let our ambitions overcome right and wrong.
That is the price. The price of being able to have your will affect the world. You're stronger than you think, you know. You have unplumbed depths. The next time you're in trouble, Jett, just call. It won't be me that helps you. It will be you.
Okay.
Do you have your purpose back now, Jett?
Everybody's going a different way right now. I feel better about this, knowing that you get something out of it. I'm not saying unconditional love's a bad thing, but knowing that there is something, and it's not a question of why is this person helping me puts me at a lot of ease. But something, and I don't know if you know, but something's wrong with my brother, or at least I have reason to suspect, so I need to go see him at the very least, and then I don't know where I'll go after that.
You'll know.
I
You're
reckon I
special,
will.
Jett. I had the choice of every person in this part of the world. But ever since that day that you sat at your mother's feet and saw the magic in the cards, I've known it was you. I've never done this before, Jett. None of us ever have. This isn't how this is done. But I'm going to make you a shaman. If you'll have it.
That sounds like it's what I've been looking for.
And from a purely mechanical point of view, in the journal, you will now find your 2 new abilities. They do have appeasement costs like everything else. You do still have ways to generate those points. The dancing, the self-harm, all that stuff still works. This is just 2 new abilities that you have. I would prefer that you played Jett as though he didn't know how the first one of those was going to show up, but I wanted you to have the mechanics so you know.
Okay. Nice. Thank you.
The second one you understand in its entirety. And yes, part of the experience for you was knowing that some people, even in her head, some people think shape-shifting is wrong, but not Raven.
Okay.
So, put your clothes back on. Go back to your friends. And try, Jett. Try not to doubt yourself. It weakens you. And she walks past you and tussles your hair like a kid.
Yeah. All right. And yeah, I just scoop up my clothes.
Yep. And by the time you bend down and pick up your drawers, you stand up and she's gone. You've been walking for a while. You know where town was. You know how to get back to Paradise, but you're looking around thinking, yeah, it's going to be a while before I get back. I was out here for a long time. So you turn around and head back. Baptiste. We have to back up a little more for this, because this is when hell had arrived in Paradise City. Baphomet's train was starting to restart, and the devil himself had come out of the trees. And you heard a voice that you have not heard in a very long time. It's the badge. And it says, Baptiste, going to hell.
Well, I definitely don't follow it and don't leave paradise.
And you have that thought just as you were torn through time and space.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Nice
try.
try.
That's what I thought was going to happen next.
Yeah.
What, we can't retcon an entire 3.5-hour episode?
And you find yourself, not surprisingly, perhaps, I mean, you know hell. They taught you all about it in seminary school. And they were right. Lakes of fire, infinite suffering, souls abounding in pain and agony brought on by their own bad behavior. But in the midst of it all, in the midst of this red world of pain and blood and suffering, is this stunning middle-aged woman. First Nations, long black hair. You see as she steps through the wall into this world, that hair just burns off in a flash. She's wearing leather skinned clothes with lots of embroidery on it. That is immediately partially charred. And have you met Raven before? I don't think you have you?
I don't think Baptiste has. No, he knows there's something totem-ish, but
Right.
Didn't they meet when the doctor was consulting with the Raven? Because the Raven was talking to the entity that was inside the doctor, and he was present.
I don't know if you saw that. Either way, you know who this is. It's who it must be. This must be Jett's Raven.
okay.
And she looks at you with a bit of shock. She says, "Oh, I wasn't expecting you here. But we all have our purpose. I've wanted to meet you. You are very interesting to me. You believe, but you do not believe. You are..."
No, this is Ryan taking a second more than Baptiste is. This is heavy. Okay. Baptiste a little more stoically doesn't sit there like this. But he sort of takes in what's going on around him, and she says the bit about believing, and he kind of finally meets her gaze and reaches up and touches just the tip of his hat and says, "Well, ma'am, there is a gulf of difference between believing and knowing. I have the burden of the latter."
Interesting. That knowledge has driven the faith from you. Some would say it works the other way.
Well, I would say that faith is dependent on ignorance, not ignorance as a derogatory term, but simply the need for faith is different than the unfortunate burden of knowledge.
You are an interesting man, Baptiste. You are of multiple worlds. Did you know that?
Oh, ma'am, I contain multitudes.
Baptiste.
That was for
Part
Sarah.
of you. Part of you belongs here. You know that, right?
I think that an unfortunate part of the dogma I believe I've never been able to shake is that all of mankind, part of us, belongs here. It is our struggle to endeavor to deserve to belong elsewhere that makes us righteous.
It is that righteousness I am counting on, Baptiste. I can feel now why you are here. You and I have something to do. Or to be more accurate. Yep.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, to be more accurate, we each have something different to do.
Well, you said I recognized the Badge's voice. Is Badge's voice and Raven's voice the same, or is it different now that I'm here?
The badge is more of a... I gave it words, but it's more of a driving force.
Okay, that's fair. That's how I've always thought.
It's it's that thing where if you stop when you're traveling, it just tells you where to go. It's that sort of internalized process. I just had to give it words.
Yep.
So yeah. So she looks at you and says, they're coming. We should step aside. And she kind of steps away from the place where she stepped through the wall.
I step off to the opposite side, so I'm not next to her. I'm
makes perfect
tangential.
sense. And you hear a train roaring in the distance, except it's not a regular train because the whistle doesn't go foo, foo, it goes wah, and it is howling soulless voices screeching in the distance.
I believe, as Willie put it, choo choo, motherfucker.
Yeah, that is exactly what you hear as the wall where she was blows apart and in comes the hell train. The skulls on it, the glowing lights, the steam blowing off of it. The steam container itself is cracked and broken. It should not work. There is steam pouring out of the sides of it, but it's still coming out the stack. It's still blowing out the push bars on the wheels. And as amazing as that is, it is nothing compared to the sight of the maniac driving this thing. He's hanging out the window. He has a northern soldier's hat on, and on top of that, he has an engineer's cap, both of which are on fire. His hair is streaming out behind him, burning. His beard is coming off as you speak. The metals on his uniform are melting and running down his chest. But it's, in spite of all that, it's Willie. And he is screaming as he goes past you. Ah! Here I come, hell! Here I come! And he looks over and sees you for a second standing there talking. And as he goes past. And then you're distracted because through that hole in the wall steps the devil himself, Baphomet, complete. And as he steps through, he puffs up even more. He heals immediately and completely from all the damage he took in the other side. And with him, crashing through that hole, Jett, covered in lava. You can see it eating him as you speak. And Raven says, my job is him. Your job is that. And she points at Baphomet. And she, in an instant, she reaches up, grabs Jett, and dives backwards through the hole. Baphomet stands in front of you. He looks down. You're early.
I take the badge out and hold it. And I say, and Baptiste says, now I know this belongs to one of y'all, but I have a funny feeling this one might have been yours. Perhaps as two landed gentlemen, we could have a conversation.
Baptiste, Saint Laurent. We will have that conversation. And the fate of the world shall hang upon it. You are a man of much experience. You are a man who has lived far beyond your regular scheduled years. And you and I know that you are not done yet. You are not mine for quite some time. But Baptiste, I want you to tell me why I shouldn't just turn around and walk through that wall in a different place in this world and have my way with it.
Well, no one else has made it this far. And I do not believe, despite all of your vices, you would be rude enough to walk out on a guest especially when you haven't had one of my mortal making in quite a while. There are rules. It's what sets us apart from the common folk.
Are you volunteering to trade yourself for them?
No, I'm passing time until you invite me to tea or drink or at least some place to sit like a proper gentleman. You're a prince, and I'm standing around like it was an entryway.
He's not used to being talked to like this, for sure. And as a result,
Internally, Baptiste is pissing himself.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. His face scrunches up, and with just the flick of a hand, there's a table appears, tablecloth, which immediately burns away. But there's a bottle of Fireball, of course. I mean, what else would it be? Sitting on the table, and 2 shot glasses. And he flicks his fingers again, and both shot glasses fill up.
I take a seat.
He sits on the other side of the chair, creaks under his mask.
I would not insult you to pretend that I know everything that's going on, but this badge, although you and I both know it's not a badge, this badge, the best I can figure, there are less than half of the original 30 left. How close am I to being right?
Closer than you want to know. You see, when that badge finally wears out, when time and effort and grinding finally wears the last of that silver bastard out of existence, nothing will be able to stop me from heading back into that world. But I can and will go back to another place in this world and start my wreckage until you arrive to chase me away again. Unless you can tell me why those people are worth saving.
I'll tell you if you give me the exact number. How many of these silver 30 coins are left?
You were exceptionally close. Only 16 remain.
Miss Ellie is one of the purest of intentions I've ever met. Miss Sarah,
Who dat?
one of the pure
Miss Alice? Yeah.
Alice.
Yeah.
Miss Alice, one of the purest of intention. Jett follows his heart even when it brings about his own pain. Well, and as for Lucius, that man will either be my best friend or I'm going to kill him. I haven't figured it out yet.
That's why I like you, Baptiste.
There is something to purity that even your kind respects.
And he glances down to where the badge is. I mean, I saw you put it away, but he's like, he knows it's under there, right? And he looks right where it is. I understand purity. Very well, old man. Very well, saint. For now, I will stay here, and you will go back. But the second you lose faith in these people, I will return. You'll be able to tell, because that damn shield will get smaller every time. And at this point, while you have a moment to think, somehow weirdly this whole thing has happened, and Willie and the train are still falling almost like in slow motion past you guys. And out of the corner of your eye, you see him leap up out of the engine, run along the back of the coal car, whip out his pistol, blam, blam. 2 shots just kind of go ping, ping off of, they both hit, but just bounced off of Baphomet. And he doesn't even look over. And Willie runs up the back of the train, and you see him leap into empty space, and his hand catches something, and you can see his old arm just shaking as his feet, the boots are starting to melt off his feet because he's in hell and he's human and he's coming apart. And then something grabs him from the other side, and boom, he's gone. And the train plunges into the depths and right into this huge pile of lava, and you can see it stops and starts to sink and melt as it goes in. There's a huge explosion of steam and ghost rock as the steam that should have already been released is released again. And thank you, chat. It was his rifle. I was being creative. Sorry. It's this, not this. Sorry. You're absolutely right, Hallowed. I should have had that. Yep, you got me. And he didn't even look up. He looks back at you again. You're an interesting fella, Baptiste. Finish this bottle with me?
What would you say? And I'll pour him a drink.
Mm-hmm.
To making things just slightly more interesting between you and I.
What is it about you humans? You can't help yourselves. What is this deal with the devil that you want to offer me?
I know that there are some prices that I pay that I don't fully understand yet, thanks to this coin. You may place one more price on my soul. But you send me back with all of the power and knowledge, everything I've accumulated over the last however many years it's been. But you send me back in the absolute prime of my physical self. Why make it easy on you? A little bit of a challenge. And raises glass.
Thousands have come before you and made me offers, and none of them were this interesting. That, Baptiste Saint Laurent, is a deal. And he clinks your glass and knocks it back before you have time to think about it.
Well, at least I get new character art.
I can hear Thunderscape firing up her drawing tablet as we speak.
Oh, this was the worst choice I've ever made. And he finishes the drink.
Mm-hmm.
He has no confidence in what he said on the inside, but outside, he's got 90 years of practice.
Yep, absolutely. You look down and you have not changed. And you look back up and he says to you, when you leave, that was the deal.
Sure.
And he reaches over and pours another drink for each of you. You going to sit there and drink with the devil?
Yep.
And the only other thing he adds, he quietly sits there, and you get the feeling, this is going to sound so strange, he's lonely.
You know
And he
what?
considers you an equal.
Baptiste gets it.
Yeah, I
Like,
bet he
it's
does.
weird. It's not friendship.
Nope.
It's not. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know if it's respect, but
Nope.
it's an understanding.
Yep. There is a need to have someone else there from time to time. And you guys quietly work your way through the rest of the bottle. And at the end of it, he stands up. And when you stand, the table disappears. Looks at you and he says, I've been trying to figure out why this is so damned interesting. And I think I figured it out.
Yes.
In some sense, I just gave you the power to defeat me. It's been a long time since I've been in a fight I might lose.
Well, if there's no chance of losing, there's no fun in it. Every gunslinger will tell you that.
That's what I miss, old man. Or should I say, young man.
I do
I
have
miss
one
the
last
rush. Yep.
one last question for you. And I suppose I'll never know if you'll tell me the truth. But this one, this coin, is it yours? Is that the tie that binds? Or is it one of the other princes?
It was mine. And then it was that man's. And now it's yours. But my essence is in it. Some of my power. Some of my primordial power before I knew better. Back when I used to change the world. I was thinking of doing that again, but well, cowboy, you just earned the world a reprieve. And by the way, and he points to your stole, most of those burn up down here. There's something special about that one.
Well, this is certainly one of the second strangest Tuesday afternoon conversations I've ever had. And he takes his glove off and puts his bare hand out to shake his hand.
Yep. And Baphomet reaches out and you see him make a conscious effort to cool his hand so he's not going to burn you as he shakes it. But he gives you skin to skin. And when you guys shake hands on this, it's extra formalizing the deal. The drink formalized the deal, but this is a promise that the two of you have made to each other. And he's grinning.
As we're shaking hands, I look him in the eye and I say, Baptiste says, revelations. And 1/3 of the stars fell from the sky in a sweep of the dragon's tail. You know, Baphomet, if you asked, he would forgive you. If you asked.
You can see
That's how forgiveness works.
You can see him physically shrinking. He was 9 feet tall, and this thought is just causing him to shrink. It's also causing him to change. The red is fading from his skin. It's replaced with a pale white. Those scaly wings on his back start to grow feathers. And he looks at you with a face that is not as demonic as it was. In fact, parts of it are absolutely stunning. And this weird mix of flickering back and forth. He says, "You don't think so, do you? You mean that?" And there is a desperation in his voice.
It's the difference between faith and knowledge. But you have to make that leap.
I'm beginning to understand why they call you a saint. But I think it's time for you to get the hell out of my hell.
And with his left hand, he quick draws and shoots him.
Yep. Go ahead and give me a roll.
Oh, shit. That was the worst choice.
I thought this was just going to be one of those classic Ryan jokes, but I see we're going through with this.
Yeah, right.
The
I
show
also
must
thought the
go
same.
on. The show must go on.
All right. Looking for it. Sorry. It always takes me a second.
Oh, no problem. Whew, it's okay. I got to wipe the sweat off.
And down in one little corner pocket, you think you see Guy down there.
A 10. Okay. You snap the pistol out and fire, and it hits him right in the eyeball and stops.
Oh, shit.
The bullet is just sitting in his eye, and he blinks, and it kind of breaks it, and it falls onto the table or onto the ground in front of him, and tink, 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 and then starts to melt because it's lead.
Okay.
And he looks at you and grins and says, "I expected nothing less." And he gestures, and a door opens in the wall.
One last little shake, and I
Yep.
holster the gun, and I walk to the door.
"Until next time, Baptiste." And the door closes. And you find yourself standing just outside the mine, but the mine isn't there anymore. When you went in, it was a 12 by 12 hole that went all the way back into the mountain. It's now just this little crack, this little fissure. It's as small as it was the very first time these guys ever saw it. There's no smoke coming out. And you look around and you can feel this land it's cleaner than it was. The desecration on this side is gone. And you step forward over up to the edge and look down the valley. And yeah, the scar down the mountainside is gone. But so is paradise. There's one building left. The last chance, or the end of the line saloon, right at the bottom of the hill. But there's no railway going from you to it.
So it's like it's clear cut, like it's been destroyed?
No, it's regrown. It is complete like virgin forest. Like the city was never there.
I try to whistle for Rebecca.
And in a matter of moments, she jumps out of the trees. Like she'd followed you up here or had come up here following your, I don't know, your scent or something. She's bonded to you in a very special way. She was as close as she could be.
I'm not taking my time, not rushing, just at a auto follow pace.
Yeah.
Ride towards the saloon.
Yep. As you go to get on her, she nuzzles you in an affectionate way. And you feel like she almost crouches to help you get on because she can tell you're exhausted from your recent experience. And she very carefully picks her way down the hill.
And I just run through that all of that.
Yep.
Second
I'm gonna have
guessing,
to watch this back and get the absolute wording of
winning
what
the
the deal
conversation,
was. So,
saying
yeah.
it better in my head, the kind of like what you do in the shower, like, oh, I
Yep.
should have done this, should have done that.
I should have done that. I should have put this caveat. Yeah, I should have added that.
And the whole, I think from last time we said it was like an hour ride or something like that. But the whole ride, he's just replaying that whole thing.
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah, give me nightmares when I was awake too.
Okay.
Back down the hill. Jett, you as you're heading back to town, Raven flitters up again and lands on a branch in front of you. And the voice in your head says, "Oh, one more thing. Send me Ellie." And then back off into the trees.
Okay.
And you make your way back to the only building left in town. And there's sounds from inside. Yeah, I wasn't expecting. Yeah, sorry, guys, just got a PM from Ryan. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that either. That was really cool. I love it. I love this game. And yes, Jett, you finally make your way back to the saloon. And the first thing you see is it's lit. It's getting dark now. And it's lit from inside. And there's the sounds of partying coming from inside, which is weird because there's only like 4 people in there.
So it is
But
lit.
it is lit, and it sounds like a full bar. And as you approach, you see very, very obviously Ellie silhouetted in the light of the door. And she's looking out. She's lit from behind, so you can't tell exactly. You can't see her face, but you can see her head looking back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And you see her pass by you, come back, and then stop. And she steps out through the swinging doors into the darkness with you. Wasn't sure you were coming back.
I wasn't going to just leave. I just had a lot on my mind. I'm sure you can understand. But my friend would like to have a word with you, I believe, if you've got the time. And I kind of gestured
Raven?
back. Yeah.
I saw what she did up in the cave.
Mm-hmm. I guess that kind of stuff just doesn't shock me like it used to.
I'm scared, Jett. I'm not scared of any people. There's no one in this world that makes me afraid. But that woman?
I'm pretty sure I trust her. As sure as I can be about an entity the likes of which I've never seen before. But I'm pretty sure.
And she reaches up and puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "I don't trust her, Jett, but I trust you. I'll go." And she just the most scared you've ever seen her. I mean, this is right up there when Baphomet fell on her and when the train crushed her. This is that level of terror as she walks off into the forest primeval to meet something she completely doesn't understand because her friend of 1 week told her to do it. And you step into the bar, and Lucius and Miss Alice and Willie and Anastasia and Charlie are all sitting around a table. Those that want drinks have got them. Those that don't. There is this, again, the sound of 50 people in this bar, and you look, and that's all that's here. But you hear the clinking of glasses and the occasional swear word, and it doesn't take you long to figure out it's Charlie. He's doing it all. He's over in the corner. He's got his cards out on the table, and every time he deals a card, some new effect starts. So the 3 of you the 2 of you. Jett walks back in. Thank you for waiting an hour. Thank you both for waiting a full hour for me to get caught up. Your turn.
Worth it.
Jett walks back in. Ellie walks out into the darkness.
So we traded.
Yep.
Alice just kind of looks at Jett when he walks in. I'm trying to figure out.
So what does she see?
The headspace he's in.
Yeah. How is he standing? What's the look on his face? Is he even here?
it's like he's not spaced out, and he just looks a lot lighter. Like there's just not like his posture is very relaxed. Like you'd think almost like he was, I wouldn't say drunk, but just that level of just like there's just all the weight that was there is not there. And so, and he almost, there's just like this little tiny bit of him that almost looks giddy, but it's still kind of just like there's still a tiny bit of level of just like, God, it's been a day.
So considering the last time they saw you,
Yeah.
the look could probably be described as borderline suicidal.
Oh, I'd say on the very step, like one step back, but very
Okay.
lost.
But
very
okay, lost. That's a
hopeless.
better word. I like that word better, actually. It's got less connotations anyway.
Mhm.
So yeah, he looked completely lost the last time you saw him, unconnected, no grounding. And now he looks maybe not fixed, but better.
Yeah. He walks in looking all chipper, and Alice waits for him to get over, assuming he comes over to the table. Alice waits for him to get over there, and then she says, "Well, it looks like someone is feeling better."
I just had to take a little walk, that's all. You know how it is.
Wasn't sure I'd ever see you again.
I think even if you didn't ever see me again, you'd have a way to find me. And there's just like every time I say one of these sentences, there's just this knowing little look in my eye, just like I'm not gonna flat out say it because I'm not gonna be a dick about it. But there's just like this, I know.
And she says, "Don't you ever doubt that."
Never. And yeah, I at that point I'm just like I go over to Charlie and I'm like, give me the whole milk.
And Alice is also different.
Yes. Why don't you tell us about that.
She even the way that she sits is different. The way that she sits now is less haughty, less like I'm trying to be something I'm not, and it's more I just am.
You say natural?
Yeah. But still dignified.
Sure.
Yeah. And of course her whole accent is different. She even sounds different. But she doesn't mention it. It just is a thing.
So yeah, I've got my glass and I sit back down at the table and I'm just taking it all in.
Lucius,
after a few drinks, he's just sitting to himself a little bit with quite a few shots, actually.
Yeah.
But there's also, he's looking at the letter his aunt gave him, right?
Yep.
But he's also playing with his old top hat that was broken, just kind of fidgeting, sewing, just kind of fixing it and make it different. Like it's as a comforting in a sense. Just every time he looks at the letter, he takes another shot and goes, "I'll have another one, Charlie."
Yeah, and Charlie's endless cupboard of alcohol. You can try and dent it, but you never get more than one bottle in because every time you open it up, it's full again. So yeah, whatever you want, any alcohol that you think of when you open the cupboard is there. Charlie's about 3/4 of this particular bottle is absinthe. So he's got his little spoon and his little sugar cubes and his little absinthe dripping machine set up on the table, and
having a scotch.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, and having a scotch while he waits for it to finish dripping because he can't stop drinking.
Cheesecake vodka.
Liquor that makes you feel full. That's not good.
Is everyone here, or is it just like the three of us now and Ellie?
Just the
like,
three of you right now.
Right. So just contemplating. Then I see Jett. I'm like, oh, you're back. Just put down the hat and everything. Just go checking on you. How are you?
And Jett, you see when he puts down the hat, it's kind of on the edge of the table, like it's kind of wobbling. And then when he puts his hands on the table, he says, "How are you?" He's a little bit squiffy. His head's moving a little bit, and the hat falls off the table onto the floor.
I'll get that later.
You're standing there with your pint of milk.
Yeah, I'm a lot better than I was. I don't know if I'm half as good as you are right now, or I hope. I guess I ain't seen you drink like that. Ooh.
I don't think any of us are as half as good as he is right now.
After what we went through and after what I might be going through, I don't know.
And and by the time he shoots it, like half of it's gone because he spilled it while he was talking to you. He's getting pretty sauced. He's a lightweight. I've decided it's canon.
Put my hand on his shoulder.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
He may be tall, but he's lanky.
He's also not he's never been a drinker before in this game, so I decided he's a lightweight. And at that moment, the doors slam open. And standing lit by the light of this room is an amazing sight. The duster you recognize. The jeans, the boots, the hat you recognize. But they are one hell of a lot fuller than they were the last time you saw them. There's bulging muscles and creaking leather when he walks, and a full head of hair. The sunken cheeks are gone. The eyes are bright and young. The full head of hair. Grinning like the devil himself. Baptiste stands in the doorway at early 30s.
I puke in the piss pot.
Can Alice make a seduction check?
Oh Lord!
I thought Alice was into older women.
All
Got all excited when the sheriff went on her shooting spree. But you certainly, don't roll it. Just tell me.
Baptiste is both now, so
yeah.
She oh, shit. All right. No, Alice just kind of is like.
Do that thing where you reach for your drink to cover up the.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Why'd you come in here looking like that?
Yeah, he's just grinning.
Is everybody
you painted him.
Now? Is everybody at the table, or Miss Ellie's not at the table?
Miss Ellie is gone. She's out in the trees. And at this point, Willie and Anastasia are next door packing the shop.
Well, Baptiste has sort of forgot about a portion of the deal he made, so he just walks back into the bar.
Yep.
And walks over to the table of his friends. Says, "I'm certainly hoping that the fact that a couple of us are missing is because they're elsewhere and no longer with us. But it is very good to see all of you again."
And as you drop into the chair, Baptiste, you feel a sort of like a solidness that you're not used to.
Like when you sit down after Thanksgiving?
Yeah, like that, but bigger. Yeah,
Alice
the chair
just
kind of goes creak when you sit on it.
Stares, and she says, Are you not going to tell us why in the hell you look like a 30-year-old again?
And you actually see, like, Baptiste kind of looks at you a little weirdly.
Yep.
And then
she pull as soon as he does that, she pulls a mirror out. She's got
I was getting ready to say, he sort of tilts his head to the side and like looks down at his hands, and he'll take the mirror from you and look at himself, and yeah, just like the black hair just about to his chin, so it's a little shorter and all of that. And
you take a breath and it goes all the way in, and you breathe out. You don't cough.
hey, he hands the mirror back. So well, it would seem that a certain individual upheld their end of a bargain. And that just might be the best news that all of us have gotten yet today.
It certainly is.
As it wipes the drool off her chin.
Yeah,
Oh,
And I'm just taking this in stride because, like, at this point, I'm just like, yeah, it's magic. So I'm just like, I lift my pipe and I'm just like, hey, your prostate's probably better.
I'm not sure if I want that as the quote for this episode or not.
I am not going to miss waking up 3 times a night, Jett. I'll tell you that much. And then he looks Jett in the eye and kind of takes a pause, and like you see the smile hit his eyes. He says,
Yep.
"Oh man." And he walks to the bar and just orders a round of beers for the entire bar.
Yep. Even the
And
ones that aren't visible. Yeah.
puts-
for Charlie's people.
Puts a $20 bill down on the bar.
Wow. Yeah, and Charlie's just kind of starts dealing cards, and drinks just start popping on the counter. And they're all over. Every table now has like 4 beers on it. And when you watch, the beers start, like, they don't get lifted up and put back down, but the levels in them go down. Like people are drinking them. You just can't see them.
I asked Charlie for some water. I just drink it all down, a little bit of water on my face. I grab the letter from my aunt and I go up to the table where Baptiste is. I put it down and on the table and go, I got some splaining to do, especially to you.
Well, that's not how I thought the conversation after showing up 60 years younger were gonna go, but what's on your mind?
You
friend?
look great. Okay, I got a lot I gotta exploit, and then I just pass out.
And it's just this. It's just he goes
Yep. Yeah. No attempt to catch him. Just watch him go.
and just watches him hit the ground.
Yeah.
I'll pay for his room for the evening. And flips like a 50-cent piece.
Absolutely. And with that, we will take a short break, a regular break. Let's have a break. We need a break after that.
All right.
And
All
we will
right.
be back in, well, tell us, Marty, you tell us. You're the
Yeah,
producer.
20 minutes. 20 minutes like always. Keeping to this schedule.
I know we were planning that, Marty, but I also know how you and time work. So I was just checking to see if it was
No,
still...
I have adapted to your needs. So it'll be 20 minutes. Enjoy these videos by our cast. Go, take care of your, so you don't have to get up 3 times tonight.
All right, we are back. And what we've got now is the 4 of you sitting in the bar. Well, the 3 of you and an unconscious snoring Lucius on the floor, with a note that he has left laying on the table. And the 3 of you and Charlie and XSplit just did a thing. I'm waiting to hear swearing. Oh, it's back. Okay. So, with that, a 30-year-old rock solid Baptiste sits on a chair with more vitality in him than you have seen in quite some time. Jett sits opposite him, borderline giggling, but stone cold sober. Well, unless he gets hammered on milk, we don't know. He's well into his 3rd pint of milk, so anything could happen now. Miss Alice, grinning, being friendly, sociable, not standing apart from the crowd. And Lucius, drooling on the floor. Miss Ellie somewhere out in the trees talking to a raven. So I imagine there's probably some questions. So
Yeah.
I just shut up and let you guys talk.
Alice looks at Baptiste and she says, "So, is he dead?"
Well, I'm pretty sure he just had one too many and passed out a little bit. Nudges Lucius with the toe of his boot.
She says, "Not that fool, you fool."
He's not to be worried about for quite a while, I do believe.
That's nice and ambiguous, but hey.
Is Baptiste ever anything but?
Well, I was taught never to provide an answer when you can leave room for a conversation. I certainly love this song. And he grabs Alice's arm.
Oh my God.
Starts dancing.
Oh
Yep.
my God.
Over in the corner, Charlie starts to giggle and he says, "Oh, he's got to see this," and deals a quick hand of cards. And Lucius, you wake up.
What?
Whoa, am I in hell? I do declare Alice is dancing with a gentleman.
And yeah, you do recognize Baptiste, but it's half of Baptiste. Well,
weird.
it's twice of Baptiste,
Some
half
weird
of
shit
Baptiste,
going
both.
on.
Oh, and Baptiste is doing the thing where you like trade partners off by arm, and like he'll dance with Miss Alice, he'll grab Lucius's arm,
Yep.
one of the bar girls, some random cowpoke. Like he
Yep.
dances with everybody.
Yep. I have to ask, Jett, you dancing with him?
I'll dance with him.
All right.
Now,
I just saw a flicker on your eyes. So
well, because if I dance, I'm dancing to my tune. Like this is I'm dancing the way that Raven taught me.
You hitting on me, boy?
Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, you swirl him up off of his chair for his turn, and he starts hopping around and flapping his arms and.
I had something and then I saw that. I had something and then I saw that.
What?
Thank you, BJ. Miss you, Beej. Missed you, buddy. Good to hear you back.
Oh, that's awesome. I am gonna do something. Oh man, there's so much fun. Hold on a second. If you'll indulge me in just 1 second, folks. I need to pull up
All
my
about
character
the
sheet.
indulgences.
I need to pull up my character
Didn't
sheet.
y'all used to sell those?
I was gonna say I'm more indulgent than the church. Let's go.
No.
I don't sell mine. I give mine away.
Oh man.
While you look that up, I'm going to mention.
Yeah.
Oh, Jett was here, bastard.
Oops.
That's
Wow.
my trick. I did that. I have brought up the map of we're on the map right now for those of us that can see the screen, because I want you guys to start thinking about how you're going to get where you're going.
Where is Paradise on this map? I always forget.
Right underneath the marker, right there.
Oh, okay.
So basically, you've got two choices to you if you want to take the train. You could go to Denver and proceed west from there, or you could go south to Dodge City and have to do part of the trek on a trail before getting to railways again. And production, if you go to the bottom map, there's much better. Just scroll down, and there's a second map. That one's got all the railroads and stuff on it. A little easier to see.
Oh, I see.
They are, just again to be clear, right there. Now, Lucius has mentioned that he wants to go back to the city of Lost Angels.
strong word. One.
Maybe needs.
I'm trying to see
Jett
where
will remind you that Raven told you that you're going. There was no question about it. She told you that's where you were headed.
apparently.
And Baptiste, when you stop to think about it,
I
there's a
guess I
pull.
don't know. There's a pull.
There's a pull.
All right.
Especially after you read the letter from Lucius talking about the gentleman, just to fill everybody in. I'm assuming, I mean, it's been sitting on the table. I'm assuming you guys read it.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about the man who used to call himself Brother Grimm, who is running what most people would call a cult out on the coast at the city of Los Angeles. And the story is that he has now taken to calling himself Father Grimm, which is probably fairly offensive, and also that he is going to lead his people on a new exodus. And Baptiste, there is something in that badge that wants to stop this heresy.
Head that way. Okay. All right.
Miss Alice, no such draw. You are completely free to decide what you're going to do.
Yeah. I don't know. Alice is kind of torn, honestly. She could go east, like far, far, far east,
Mm-hmm.
or go west for a bit first. So I don't know. She's kind of pondering her options and what she wants to do. It's kind of going to depend on how the conversation goes.
Absolutely. And speaking of that conversation,
Mm.
let's drop back in where we were. You guys hadn't actually started talking about the trip yet. I just wanted to use that gap to fill that space with that. So just
Sure.
sort of get everybody a step ahead.
What in Deadlands, Marshal Kevin, is the role for sort of self-control? The equivalent of like a willpower type thing?
Sure.
My God.
I would call that a guts check.
A guts check? All right.
Yeah,
Well, let me,
I think that makes...
and what do I... Is that an actual...
It's under spirit.
It's under spirit. Gotcha. Let me find that. Oh,
And
perfect.
actually, you, because of your background and the conversation you just had, you can choose between faith or guts.
Oh, I know. I don't think this has anything to do with faith. I think this
Okay.
is pure on guts. So let's see how well this goes. And I guess successes, you get to determine how many it takes, but successes means keeping his wherewithal, and losses means giving into younger impulses. So I don't know how many I need.
Yep.
I don't know how many I need.
Oof. What do
There
you
we
need
go.
to
We
roll
get
to
to
beat
roll.
testosterone? That's a high roll.
That's basically what it is.
Testosterone kills folks.
I mean, there we go.
Um,
So I don't know. You
an
tell me how
11
well I did or not.
You are you got urges.
Right.
Your body wants to run, it wants to play, it wants to do other things. Your body has a lot of urges right now. yeah.
What's Ellie's uncle's name? The owner of the bar?
Charlie.
Charlie. So at one point, however, whenever it happens in the night, I don't know, probably at the most inopportune moment, while Jett and Baptiste are having their little, like, Jett's being like, oh, well, I guess you're different now. Moment, Baptiste will sort of catch Jett's eye and like take a couple of steps back, like squaring off and like fingers itching towards the sides of his gun belt. And Baptiste will actually like give a quick little nod over towards the bar and do a quick draw and let off a fan of shots at the whiskey bottles along the back row.
Okay. Roll me some shootings.
Oh, good. Now I do believe these all get negatives as they go.
Yep. The first one is straight up and then -2 per roll. So
-2 per roll. All right. So there's normal,
That hits.
-2,
Still hits.
-4,
Oh, hits 2.
6,
That's just barely takes the top off one. And that
-8,
one drives into the mirror behind the wall and shatters it.
-10,
That one shatters the rest of the wall.
-12.
Yeah. So yeah, the first ones, I mean, they were amazing. Right through the
And
bottle.
as soon
right
as
through the
he's
bottle.
done, he's
Yeah.
hooting and hollering and celebrating, regardless of the results.
Bars full of gun smoke. There's busted the smell of whiskey all over the place. Charlie's going, hey, 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 every time you shoot a bottle. Then you shoot up the back of his bar. He's like, son of a bitch. And he starts dealing cards, and their mirror starts rebuilding itself behind the bar.
And yeah, Baptiste like slapping Jett like hard on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Well, come on now, see if you can do better than the 4.
Is he drunk? Can I tell if he's, or is he just like young? Is that?
¿Por qué no las dos?
Because in my mind, the first thing on Jett's mind is like, you know, the bar is Charlie, right? So probably not for the best.
And like he's reloading.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
I also just shot Charlie's bar with a ghost steel pistol.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
I'm not making good choices.
No.
Oof.
Make this
Oh,
as bad
Lord.
as I can for myself.
Oh, I feel like this is gonna get worse, and I'm just gonna clap him on the shoulder and be like, "Why don't we take it outside, partner? We can." I'm sure that
He shoves his own pistol in your hand.
Lord, it's better than I thought. I thought this could be like, "Hey, buddy, let's go uppercut him."
But like he's holding your arm up and holding his gun in your hand with your finger under his finger,
Yep.
Lord,
aiming at the bar.
Yeah.
oh Lord.
As
All
the
right.
mirror comes back together,
Uh,
Jett, you watch your own hand come up.
what do I have to roll to make
Hey,
this,
Alice. Hey,
like
Alice.
try? No, I'm aiming for a window, like something that I feel like would just go out a window and kind of be done. So
Oh
I'm
my
doing.
Okay.
God.
I'm
Well,
trying to do less
Alice,
damage.
I
$5
love
bucks.
this because I just had a wonderful idea. Baptiste,
What?
I would like you to roll a shooting, trying to get him to shoot, and I'm
Oh,
going to get
no.
him to roll a shooting and reduce your shot by that. So
Okay.
you're trying to get him to shoot, and he's trying to get it to go out a window.
All
Both of you
right,
give me a shooting.
Skylar, you ready?
Yep.
What?
Hey, Alice.
Oh.
$2 that Charlie kicks them out of the bar.
So
didn't do
Baptiste,
that.
you get him lined up, and it's
I
like,
don't
oh,
know
this is
what
going to
I
be great. Like, I'm going to get at least 2 bottles with this one. You squeeze the trigger, and Jett, you tilt your head. If I may be so bold as to slip this in here, you tilt your head with your hat on it and use the raven feather to tickle his nose. And then when he's distracted, you kind of spin the gun to the side. It does not go through the window like you had aimed, but it goes through the wall beside the bar and only makes a little hole.
Great. There's the first one. I have 5 more.
Oh my God.
Oh, is this a
Do it
dual
again.
action?
Yep. He's trying to,
Oh.
and now he's got your fingers squeezed, and he's
Well,
just reaching up over the
no.
top, and he's just slapping the fan in.
I guess technically I probably can't be fanning the gun, so maybe I only have 1 more for the double action shot.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do 1 more each.
Whatever,
All
Matt.
right.
Whatever works for the narrative.
Yeah.
Oof.
11,
Oh
16,
God.
and you sneeze the feather out of your nose. No, something like this, and you get him back, and that one shatters another bottle behind the bar. Jett,
Yeah.
you look over. Charlie's grinning and laughing. He's dealing cards as fast as he can, trying to fix stuff as it happens. So you see like a little red mark on his neck, and then it goes away. And then there's another little red mark on his shoulder. He goes, oh shit! And then deals some more cards, and it goes away.
Oh Lord.
And he's
You-
grinning. Charlie
Oh.
is grinning. He's enjoying this.
Yeah, and Alice sees that
It's
and
a
she
bar, right?
nudges
It's a-
Lucius. She nudges
Yeah.
Lucius and she says, "No, look
Okay,
at
yeah.
it."
I give you the $2.
the last thing that Baptiste does, like after all of that, and then he's actually gonna go upstairs. So we shoot through a wall, and then we blow out a whiskey bottle, and Baptiste, this like 30-year-old kid, which, how old is Jett?
It used to be in my character sheet, but I don't rightly reckon.
Or is Jett
I
older?
remember, I think he
You're
was
as old as me, so you're 27, I
26,
believe.
right?
Yeah, it's
26,
like late-
27?
late
Yeah.
I was born
20s.
in 87.
Okay,
is
so
what
so Jett's just barely. What's
87.
funny?
Isn't that in the future?
What's
No.
funny is I think I was still born
Oh.
in 20 something. So, but
Yeah.
we're basically the same age.
Yeah,
That's
actually, all
negative 10
all
years
four
old.
of you now are very close to the. Baptiste is still the oldest, but like to the point where, especially the way Lucius kind of looks sort of old beyond his years, Baptiste probably doesn't look like the oldest member of this party anymore.
So Baptiste really laughs as that last that bottle shatters, and Charlie is laughing, and he takes his because both of his pistols are now ghost steel. He grabs his ghost steel pistol that he was just holding in your hand, Jett, the one that you just fired with him, and he laughs really hard, and he I'll roll quick draw if you need me to. Baptiste takes your peacemaker out of your gun belt and puts his peacemaker in yours and says, "Well, I suppose you're all right," and then slaps you once friendly and then once really, really hard
Oh my god.
Oh.
and walks up to his room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but see,
you do the backhand where it's all kind of limp and it's just for effect, and then you harden it up and come back with that forehand for real.
Now that's the plan. You tell me,
Yep.
you roll whatever. Maybe that's not how it works.
I need to understand something because I'm all for
Yep.
this, but I just need to know, is this a day and age where two men can have a barroom brawl and still be friends at the end of the day? Like, is this
Oh hell yes! There has never been a time when that wasn't the case.
As far as I'm concerned, it is.
Oh, then yeah, I'll take those two slaps, and I feel the second one's harder, so I'm like, oh, I see this is escalating. So I'm just smiling and grinning, and I just come up with a fucker punch.
Yes. All right. You know what? Forget initiative. Both of you roll brawling. Let's do this this way.
boy.
Oh,
Want
this
to do
is
some more gambling, Alice?
everything that I had hoped it would be.
Uh,
Brawling, because I'm really good at this.
Oh, I'm
Not
at-
good at this.
Let's see.
This is
brawl.
not what I do.
We will have to make an adjustment to your physical strength, Baptiste, but I'm going to say for this point, you're still not used to it. So it's
That
kinda,
sounds
you've
good.
got it, but it's kind of not quite sure how to make use of it. So we'll use your old strength
Alright.
for this.
Y'all
Am I
ready?
rolling? I'm rolling strength? No, I'm rolling brawling.
No, you're brawling. So isn't that
What is
under
brawling under? Sorry.
Fighting, brawling.
Nimbleness fighting.
nimbleness?
nimbleness,
Yeah, that's
thank
right down the
you.
bottom, so yeah.
All
It is
right,
not something I normally do.
here we go.
Boom. BJ put $20 on Jett.
Uh-oh.
Oof.
Oh, I'm not good at this.
I did worse than I thought.
All
Oh,
right,
shit.
Jett, you kind of grin and throw the punch, and you just catch the tip of his chin, just a little mark. And I'm just going to keep track of hits, and I'm not even going to,
Okay.
because these aren't wounds; these are just like you're just sort of scrapping. You sort of step back and think to yourself, "Well, that wasn't very right between the eyes." He catches you absolutely clean.
Oh god.
I know I have no idea how wounds work, so I'm just going to keep rolling, and
Yep,
then
I'm
Kevin's
just
gonna
I'm
tell
just
me what's
keeping
gonna
track of
happen.
hits, and I've decided I have a number in my head, and whichever one of you gets to it first is going to put the other one on his knees. So
All right.
second
Sweet.
round, Jett winds up with a big swing, catches him a little bit better, but still not great.
Ooh.
But in result, because he staggered back, Baptiste sort of swings, and the only reason you make contact is because he kind of blocks it with his arm, and you kind of punch him in the arm. But right
All right.
Baptiste is slightly ahead on points. The two of you are sitting at the bar.
I
Okay,
stagger back
score?
a little bit, and I grab a bar glass and chuck it at his head on the next one.
Oh boy.
Oh, chat's
And
on.
if this misses, it's gonna be fun.
BJ and Solar are betting in chat.
Ooh.
Okay.
Do I roll against that, I guess, still?
Oh, that's my
right
chucking
ahead.
a glass at your head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
you're a bit of space, so yeah. Give me
Oh, sorry. Oh shit.
no, that works. The glass is coming towards
Oh my
you.
god.
Like he just grabs it and hurls it at you, and you just whoosh, and catch it. And you catch it in such a fashion that the half a beer that was in it is still in it.
Well, now hold on a second.
Yeah, I won't throw a glass at him, but I will punch him with the other.
Yeah. You just put the glass on the table and throw a punch. Go ahead.
Oh crap.
One more round. That was the catching.
Oh.
Okay.
$20 on Jett.
Yep.
Oh no.
Go ahead, Baptiste. Try and defend yourself against that 17.
All right, great. Do you still have the glass in your hand, Jett? That's a very important question.
I think I sat it down as well.
I said sat it down. It's up to you. Don't let me tell your story.
Well, you know what? Hey, I'll say I was holding it because it's like I caught it, and then while you were amazed looking at that glass in my hand, I just
the other hand snaps out. Yeah.
So
I threw it, you caught it, you punched me with the offhand, and you're still holding it, and you just cleaned my clock.
Apparently.
I shoot the glass.
Oh shit.
Oh, and yeah, okay.
Oh my lord.
You punch him and he staggers back, and as he's leaning back, puts one hand on the table and squeezes off for the shot, and you're holding the handle. Like the glass just shatters, there's beer all down the side of you, and you're holding the handle. And from the corner you hear Charlie. Bravo, bravo.
And I will say, Jett, you notice, like, after, like, the hand comes up with the gun in it, and it fires off, and it shoots the glass, and you can see it, and Jett recognizes shame. And then Baptiste goes, "Well, you brought a glass to a gunfight, boy," and wanders upstairs to his room.
Alice looked at it. She says, "I'm just glad Willie's not here." Could you imagine?
Oh, that would have been one.
Very carefully not been mentioning the noises from next door.
They're packing. I don't want to know what they're
lasted
packing.
2 hours. I lasted 2 hours without
Suitcases.
making that joke. I'm quite proud of myself.
There's one more thing I want to do before this night wraps up specifically.
Yep.
Whenever Baptiste goes upstairs, I have that handle on my hand, and I sit in front of Charlie, and I sit it down, and I'm like, yeah, sorry about that. I tried to tone it down a bit there toward the end.
And he looks over at you and he says, "Son, you don't spend much time in bars, do you?"
I drink milk.
That was de rigueur.
That's just a Wednesday night.
He says, "Hell, there was only two of you fighting."
Yeah. Well,
I don't know what's happened to Charlie's voice. He's got about 9 voices now, but
Sorry.
He's not who he's pretending to be. So I guess this all works.
Well, listen, fella, when I came here, you were one of the only magic users I've met so far. I didn't know nothing about nothing, but it seems I've found a few on my own. But I just wanted to know, were there any maybe you could teach me, maybe one for the road?
Well, yeah, show me your deck. Show me your deck.
I'll hand him a deck because I have a deck of cards. If I'm listening to this,
I guess, yeah, I've got his deck, and I'll just sit it there.
No. Your Hoyle's Book of Games deck. And he goes, "Poof," and it appears in his hand. This one?
I ain't got nothing like that, mister.
Well, how the hell you do your magic?
let me take a point of contention here just to make sure. He said when he saw the magic I did, I think he told Ellie or somebody, he said that's nature magic or something.
Yep.
I think he knows, but
He wants you to tell him.
I have a lady that taught me. She's she's a woman of the forest, I guess, or she's kind of a woman. I'm not 100% sure.
Wild magic?
Yes, sir.
I can't teach you nothing. I don't do that.
Fair enough. Well,
You all you?
I think so, except for the bits that might have been blasted away in the past week. But I mean, I think they all came back.
Because let me tell you, that magic works different. That magic works because you let something in. And that something's running you.
As far as I can tell, it is something I let in, but it seems to be something I called out for, and it seems to have opened up new possibilities for me. And I seem to be all me, and until the day that I'm not, I think I'm fine with it. I don't know if it's any of, thank you. I don't know if it's any of my business, but Miss Ellie is currently having a conversation with my friend that taught me these things, and I fully trust her. Both of them.
The second you say that, he starts dealing cards on the table, like so fast you can hardly see. And he deals out a hand of 5. No. Deals out a hand of 5. No. Deals out a hand of 5. There it is. And slams the table. Thank you. She's protected.
Protected from what?
Nothing's taken her.
Sir, I can give you my very, very surest assurance. Ain't nothing gonna take her while we're around.
And much more slowly, he deals another hand of cards, and he looks at them and he looks up at you. I believe that. He shuffles his cards back into his deck and puts them in his pocket.
As you should. Mama didn't raise no liar.
Well, I failed her horrible bad, son. Please don't do the same.
Yes, sir. And I just kind of tip my hat and get up and
Yep, and he's going back to his card
When-
game.
When Jett gets up and leaves, Alice walks over and sits down in front of Charlie.
Mhm.
She says, she just kind of tilts her head at him. And she says, "What can you teach me?"
And he looks at you and deals just 2 cards. It's like that this is all he needs to do this. And you just feel a whiff of air blow your hair back.
Mhm.
And he's very clearly looks at your ear. He says, "Nope, can't help you either. But that at least is natural."
Not to me. Not yet.
But you're born like that. You've been like that your whole life. That don't come on.
Maybe. But I seem to have repressed it for a long time, denying it was ever there.
Nothing good comes from repression, man. Can I ask, what can you do?
And she says, "May I?" And she hails her hands for a deck of cards.
And it's not his, it's another deck.
Yeah.
And he hands it to you.
And she'll shuffle them. And then she'll hold him out, ask him to pick a card.
And he looks
Look
at you
at
like
it.
this old trick.
And when he puts it back in the deck, she tries to go into his head.
Okay, give me, what were we using for that? Spirit?
Is that what it was? Maybe.
Give me that. Give me a spirit
Okay.
roll and we'll see what happens here. I think that's what we were using.
I don't remember. I think so.
You get in, but just for a split second. You're in, you see the card,
Okay.
but then this little furry, muscle-bound little, it's like if you took Rodan
Hmm.
and crushed him down to being 18 inches tall. But it's
Yeah.
just this little mass of muscle and this big bushy red beard and a kilt and a drink in each hand. He says, get out, it's mine, get out.
That's fine. All I wanted to see was to see the card.
Yep. You saw the card and you saw his puka.
So when she comes back out, she goes through and she pilfers through the deck until she finds the card and lays it on the table.
One eyebrow goes up. She says, that's a good trick. I felt you in there. But your pattern needs some work.
Like I said, repressed. And she
I don't do repressed, miss.
Yeah, I can tell. She says, I had a young friend when I was younger. Used to always do card tricks, swore up and down that it was magic. Never believed him. Not until about 24 hours ago.
And he's shuffling and shuffling. And he fans the cards out in front of you with the backs facing you. And he says, my turn. Now this is how it's done. Young lady, I am here to impress you with the skills and abilities that have been given to me by the dark powers of the universe. Draw a card. And he can see the faces. Like he's got it found out in front of him. He's going to absolutely tell what you take.
I shall take a card.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You take the card and you turn it around, and it's a picture of Jessie. He looks at you. He says, now that's a trick.
And she takes the card and just folds it in half.
Mm-hmm.
And just drops it.
And it falls, hits the floor, and you look down, and it's the 6 of diamonds.
And she says, normally I would ask how, but seeing as how you aren't going to tell me anyway, there's no point in asking, it seems.
Well, I'll tell you, but you ain't going to understand. You ever played canasta?
I feel like she probably has, right?
Yeah, it's a very typical game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if I remember correctly, it's a trump game, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's the oldest card game I could remember the name of.
Yeah.
You ever played canasta? Then you would have.
Mm-hmm. She just shakes her head.
That's all that is. Just a little game.
Mm. And she says he always told me that there was something else there, but I pushed it down. And now he's not even around for me to tell. But I suspect he knows.
And he looks confused. And he says to you, well, why don't you just do what you just did to me?
Because quite frankly, I'm terrified of what I'm going to find.
Well, you got some thinking to do, lady. Because you want what you're afraid of. And that ain't going to
So
work.
do. Yeah. Tell me about it. And she'll throw a 5 down on the bar, and she goes to her room.
Which I believe leaves just Jett and Lucius.
Oh, the hangover.
Yeah, oh, that hangover before you go to bed, like, because you already got sick and the borderline nauseous.
I gave Charlie an extra like $10. Like, sorry about the,
He said, oh, don't worry, son.
Oh, but thank you for waking me up for that. That was worth it.
And he says, oh, by the way, and he just deals 3 quick cards, and you look over and your mask just disappears.
Well, Charlie, I'm gonna go to bed. So, and good night, Jett.
Partner.
I got a lot of things I gotta explain to you, all of you. I fear my sins are catching up to me, so to speak. But another night. Good night.
Is it fair to say, Lucius?
Yep.
I'm asking you because it's your character. That Lucius looks. Well, you tell me. What's the look on his face? What's the emotion on his face that Jett just saw when you said that? Guilt?
A lot of guilt, sadness, regret. All the good, all the good stuff. I'm not hiding it because it's time. It's like a man ready to face judgment.
So he's looking at you like a hanged man, just waiting to die.
And a little hint of like, maybe I'll get some peace finally.
Oh.
I'm sure we'll figure it out. Ain't nothing a good night's sleep won't help.
If only. And I walk upstairs.
Yep.
And I walk outside. So
okay.
I'm just trading places for the end of this with Ellie, so I'm just sitting out there waiting for her to come back.
And I go to bed.
Wow. And I know we're a little short. It's only 10 to 8, but I can think of no better place. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. Hang on. One more thing. Let me do it this way. Is there anything anybody else wants to do?
You're muted.
Baptiste.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Go ahead, Les.
I'd like to start writing stories. And the title, it says Lucius's Fables in the Garden of Shallow, the Shallow Gardens.
That's so cool.
And you start to write.
That's so cool.
Into the night by candlelight. The candle burns down. You start another one. You did say you didn't, you weren't expecting to sleep tonight. So I'm just playing on that. And in another room. Yeah.
Oh, no. I was just saying Alice. Alice also is going to, after that conversation with Charlie, Alice is also going to write a letter. She's not going to dive into anybody's head.
Nope.
But she is, and the Paradise Dispatch, I imagine, is gone.
Yep. It disappeared when he left. Yeah.
So she's going to write a letter.
Seeing as how I don't know where you are, I don't know if this letter will find you. And I have no doubt you probably already know what I'm going to say. You always knew what I was going to say. I never understood that before, but now I understand it better than I ever hoped I would. You see, it was never really you that I doubted. It was always me. Doubted that if what you said was true, that I could ever be a part of it and henceforth a part of your life. I was never sure about how I could fit in to such a grandiose idea that there is more in this world than flesh and bone, more than the lies that men tell women, more than the current view of the world. Mostly, you see, because that limited view was all I knew. You knew me as a child. Even at that age, I appreciated what I viewed around me more than what I viewed in my own heart. It was you that turned me toward a camera, always looking outward, never in. So, how could you be so surprised when you tried to look inside my mind, even as a child, that I would push back, that I would so feverishly deny what I saw when I looked there myself? How could you not know that you were everything I was worried I could never be? And I follow others writing down the stories they tell because I find my own story to be too much for me. I'm not saying that it's your fault, quite the opposite, actually. You're the reason that I have an outlet, the reason I've been able to be okay for so long, moving through life as if the motions and where I was going didn't matter. Now, in recent weeks, things have changed so much for me. Changes that I believe you knew would happen all along. I tell myself that you know how sorry I am, that you know deep in your heart that I found myself, my true, magical self. And like most other things in my life, I couldn't have done it without you. I can only hope that as my time in paradise comes to a close, I take with me the lessons this town, my friends, have taught me. I know I will only continue to grow. Maybe one day I'll even mail this piece of paper I'm writing on now. For now, I think I'll hang on to it. Hell, you probably already know what it says anyway, don't you, darling? But truly, Jessie, I'm writing to inform you that we are finally leaving this wretched town. While it has been filled with glorious stories and new friends, I am ever so pleased never to return to the hell that is paradise. I am filled with hope and dread as we move further west to the city of lost angels. Sincerely yours, wherever you may be, Alice O'Hare.
So that's what Alice is doing.
So viewers, Sarah brought me that this week
That's amazing.
and said, can I? And I said, please. And so she did. And I want to thank her, and I want to thank our production crew for getting that in with very short notice. I've been looking forward to that since I first heard it. Thank you, Alice.
That was
Thank you, Sarah.
fantastic.
Also, there's a link to that audio and the letter itself in the comments. So
Wow. Thank you.
can read
That
it.
was amazing.
Thank you. I was like, I almost cried when I did it, and I almost cried again listening to it.
I'm a
Man.
crier, and I was listening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
Oh,
dusty in
man.
here for sure. So with that, there is only one room left on the top floor, on which we have not peeked.
So, fairly early, maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, Baptiste sort of starts up out of bed, and he, slowly and carefully swings his legs over to the sides and puts his hands on his knees and braces himself for the effort that it takes to stand up. And then he's up, and he doesn't understand why it was so easy.
Yeah.
And then remembers, and he stands in the mirror above the little wash basin for a little while, and he pulls his clothes off and looks at the young, tight skin and the muscles, and still sees the scar that was carved into his chest.
Oh, yeah.
And he just places his hand, and he doesn't summon any of the extra strength that he can sometimes, but he just places his hand against the glass of the mirror and presses with a completely normal amount of strength, and it shatters.
Yeah.
And he puts on just a shirt and his pants and his doesn't not the belt, but just takes one of the pistols with him and walks downstairs. And he's not particularly quiet as he goes, and he's still a little drunk from the evening. So it's not quiet. He makes noise, and he goes down to the bar and finds, he assumes, because he's kind of got a bit of an idea, Charlie.
Yep. And he's still sitting in the corner playing his cards and drinking.
And he walks over to Charlie, and he sits down across from him at the table and reaches out and grabs the bottle and pours himself a drink.
Mm-hmm.
And he just keeps eye contact with Charlie as he purposefully lets the bottle fill the glass past the point where the bottle should have gone empty. And then takes a big but reasonable drink out of the glass. He doesn't finish 12 ounces of whiskey.
Sure. Yeah.
Because that'll kill you.
Yeah.
But he takes a decent gulp of it and says, and still looking him in the eye, says, I need to talk to you.
You certainly need to talk to somebody.
And he reaches out with his left hand and grabs Charlie's arm.
Charlie kind of goes stiff.
And he reaches out with his right hand holding the pistol and points it at Charlie's head.
And Charlie's just staring down the barrel.
And he says, no, I need to talk to you. And he begins an exorcism.
Oh.
And then stops. You here? Or should I
certainly
continue?
am.
I need you to help me understand exactly what bargain it is that I find myself currently entwined in. Because I got a whole lot of power, and I got 60 or 70 years worth of memory, then the body in the mirror should be able to have. And you're going to help me understand it, or I'm going to send you back to whatever fey piece of shit you're from, and then put a hole in this man's head. And then he cocks the pistol.
Well, I can't speak for Shirley, but it seems to me like the price you pay with the deal with the devil is always bigger and tougher than the benefits you get from it. So if he's giving you back 60 years, I can only imagine he's going to take 120 when he's done with you.
But I need to understand if he's going to take 120 from me, or if he's going to take about 30 from every single one of my friends.
Well, me and him were not exactly on speaking terms, but I've seen enough of his work over the years to know what he's probably going. Yeah.
That puka can hear the creak of the trigger.
Yeah.
As it starts to swindle.
Yeah. And there's a pause and he says, "What did you agree to?"
All my knowledge, all my abilities, one new power, my youth, and one new price. And I don't know what that price is yet. You tell me the price, and your skull stays intact.
The price with that one's always the same. It's your soul he's after.
I wasn't aware that was still a chip I had.
There's one in there. It's all beat up and shit, but it's all in there.
He releases the hammer and puts his... He doesn't let go.
Yeah. There's a shudder. As the situation just de-escalates that much. Just,
He puts his gun down on the table and he pulls out the coin. You know what this is?
Not only do I know what it is, it hurts it to be in my presence, doesn't it?
Have you ever seen another one of these coins?
Not like that one. Not like that one.
Have you ever heard stories of where another one of these coins might be?
Well, silver has powers, doesn't it? Certain silvers from certain places and certain times stores up certain energies, don't they? You find a place in history where silver was, and you'll find something very much like that.
Well, anyone who's read the Bible's heard the story of these silvers, but I want the name of a city. I've heard rumors, but I want to know the ones you've heard.
Anywhere there's been a great loss of life, and where there's silver, you're bound to find some magic. And around here, there's only one place here that's had that much death and that much silver. And you, my son, we're going there already.
When you leave this man, If I'm still here, I'm gonna come and kill you. Because you hurt a friend of mine. But thank you. And he puts his gun away. And he walks upstairs. And he stops. In front of Miss Alice's door.
Mm-hmm.
And then goes to bed in his own room.
And downstairs, Charlie sits at the table shaking. Reaches for the glass, knocks it over. And a voice somewhere between him and the puka says, when that man comes back, I'm going to let him shoot me. And that is where we'll drop an end on tonight. Holy cow, people. Holy cow. What a night. Wow. That's how you start a season, isn't it?
I thought that Stephen Pilot man shoot me too.
Thank you, Marty. Oh, for bringing us back. Thank you, everybody here. Holy cow. Let's bring us back down here. Let's ground this a little bit. I want to quickly talk about these amazing people and what they did tonight. But first, I want to go through the boxes underneath the screen here. One more time, we are raising money for Extra Life. This is money that's going directly to helping sick kids. So we would love it if you would help us with that. The panel down below, you can really make a difference. Secondly, oh, this is hard to do because it just
Don't
doesn't seem very
forget,
important anymore.
If you donate to Extra Life, every $10 donation gets you entry to win
Yes.
a private game with Puck.
With the Puckster, yes, who will not rip out your soul. Well, he will, but in a completely different way than I do it.
Yeah. Accurate.
We're also, you also find when you scan down there, we are raising some money for a slightly more personal reason. We are raising money to get some of us to Gen Con and make sure that we can be sort of fed, clothed, and sheltered when we get there. So if you
This is
help
just
us
to
with
cover the
that-
shelter, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. This is to cover
is
some
just a-
expenses to get us
yeah,
there.
cover-
We plan on doing amazing things once we're there. But if you could help us out with that, again, the panel down below.
Help a few starving
And,
artists.
Thank you
We
for
got some
those
more
of us, those
followers
of you that already
tonight.
have.
Yeah, thank you for those that already have. I didn't realize anybody had. I hadn't looked.
Yeah.
We've also got our, we got closer tonight. I heard the ping a number of times. We're getting closer to 1,500. And when we do, somebody, lucky bugger, is going to get the Obsidian Soul Sever as created for us at a custom workshop, the fine folks at Forged Foam. That is, there's only 2 of those. And one of them is staying with us, and the other one is going to one of our amazing viewers. So stick around for that. When we get to 1,500, somebody's getting that. Now that I've given them a chance to breathe, I get one after we go off air. I want to thank these people one at a time for one of the most amazing role-playing sessions I have been in a very, very long time. We had a fight. It was a PvP fight, and it was still okay. We had a lot of story development. We had character development. We moved along. And for that, one at a time, I would like to thank first Ryan for playing Baptiste. I would like to thank Sarah for playing Alice, and that letter gets me every bloody time. Jett, played by Sky for us. Thank you, sir. I enjoyed that scene so much. And Lucius, I pass out on the ground will forever be one of my favorite lines. We needed a moment of levity, and you hit it perfectly. So thank you. What a team. This is like 20-something episodes. We're hardly started. What a
Yeah.
team.
Welcome to week 2. I mean, season 2.
Season 2, week 1. Yeah. Wow. So I want to give these people a chance now to tell you what else they do when they're not blowing your minds here. So let's just do it in the same order. Ryan, what do you do when you're not here?
Oh boy. Well, I'm a professor of theater and acting performance, which is a ton of fun in the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. So it's like Norfolk. If you're in the area ever, let us know. Shoot us a message on Twitter or something like that. We'll play a game or grab a beer or something like that. We also can be found at Roll for Initiative. That's our YouTube channel, and that's our Twitter and our Instagram. So please find us there, R4I Vlog. Dawn, who you can find here on Monday nights, just did an amazing video about a great game called The Quiet Year. It's cooperative like our game is. It's GM-less. It's designed as a one-shot. And she ran it last year at Gen Con and might be running it again this year at Gen Con.
Oh, wonderful.
Get in on that. So check that video out for sure.
That
Roll
is-
for
that is a game,
Initiative
yeah.
on YouTube.
Thank you. And that is a game I've been looking at for a couple of years. The
Oh, it's
idea
so
of
good.
a storytelling game. That's the purpose, is to tell a story. I mean, big surprise, this appeals to me. So this was you can let her know that her video pushed me over the limit. I'm going to get it very soon.
Yeah.
Within next week or
Oh,
so,
that's
I'm going
awesome.
to have that. So
Oh, that's so cool.
and then sneak, my brain is going 1,000 miles an hour. This is a game that would very easily be able to be put onto Roll20. So
Oh, yeah.
eyes
Oh,
open for the
yeah.
future. With that, we'll move down the line. Sarah, why don't you tell us about what's going on the rest of this week
Okay, this
on
is
this
a
channel?
crazy
Or were we doing
week.
it the other way? Tell us whatever you want to tell us, and then we'll get Sky to cover the gaps. So
Okay. We have a crazy week this week. Tomorrow night here,
yes.
same time as tonight, we are playing a Tomb of Horrors. Not the Tomb of Horrors, but a Tomb of Horrors.
Yes.
It's going to be Kithri, Guy, Jolbetta, and Rolda trying to win this unbeatable dungeon. It's going to be amazing. And then Saturday is the evil one shot with not only Joe Cat, not only Dingo Doodles, but also Felix, the DM of the Fool's Gold campaign, and our very own Skylar.
And this is a coup for a number of reasons. I mean, come on, Joe Cat, Dingo Doodles, Felix, come on. Felix, this is going to be his first ever live stream event. So we get to do that on Saturday. So check that out while these guys get evil. And if you're wondering how exactly somebody who plays Jett and Penn is going to be evil, I'm interested too. So
Right.
Speaking of Sky, I do not doubt your acting range.
well,
I really don't. I'm just looking
Sarah,
forward to seeing that side of it.
Yeah, I was.
Don't you have one more thing that?
Yeah,
we
I was
gonna.
gonna.
Okay, I cut you off. Sorry.
No,
One more
it's
thing.
fine.
What more thing?
This has not been announced anywhere.
Oh, official
officially.
announcement.
March 21st,
Yes.
which is a Saturday, I will be doing my table flip.
Yes.
And I will be running a game of Clockwork.
Woo!
There's
Those of you who don't know, table flip is something we've been working on. We've done one so far. I did one where basically like your first time GMing or a new GM runs a game for some very experienced GMs.
Yes.
And I think you have a special guest coming for that.
I do have a special guest coming. So it's Kevin and Sean, and Ryan, if he wants to join in too. And then Lily Tran, I believe is her name. I think she is. I can't remember what her Twitter is. I'll link it. I'll link her Twitter. She is going to be joining us. She's an experienced DM. She's never played Clockwork, so.
And none of us have ever played with her. So
None
it's
of
gonna be
them
really
have.
unique
Yeah,
and interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've only played the game a handful of times myself, so.
Oh, this is going to be so much fun.
It's going to be interesting. It is definitely going to be interesting.
And that is March 21st?
Yes.
Thank
It
you.
is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right. Well, thank you for that. I didn't know we were announcing that today. So cool. We announced it and now it's official. Now you have to do it.
Yeah, now I have to do it. I'm trapped now.
So we'll let that fear settle in over you while we skip over to the next box. And Sky, what are you up to?
I'm always doing YouTube stuff. Sarah and I have been working on stuff over there. We've got new uploads every week. So if you want to catch any of the old episodes you've missed of Poison,
The highest
Paradise-
quality uploads in the business.
Oh, you don't even know. I'm just saying, if you want one episode that was 42 gigs worth of content because I accidentally encoded it wrong, it's amazing. Go check out our last
It's
Warlocks episode.
it's the best upload. That's
So,
why
yeah.
it took like
you
8
can
hours.
see individual atoms floating across the screen. The resolution is so good.
Yeah, it actually the resolution was so high that it retroactively made everyone's original camera images better. Everybody
Right.
suddenly had like 8K cameras.
Right? Yeah. It was
I don't even know
amazing.
how we
Of course, none of you are going to be able to see that level of detail because none of you have an 8K TV. We're sorry about that.
Yeah,
Right.
well, but
But just know that it's there.
regardless,
This is all
Go
Marty's
check
fault
those
for time
out.
traveling with this technology.
Go
Yeah.
check this out. Go check out all our one shots. We just did our cat one shot, which is amazing. It was so
Yes.
good. Go watch it. I did the editing. Great.
Tell, if you would be so kind, tell them what you called that.
Mercs of Meowschiff.
That's
or
the one.
Cats of Mischief. Ah, it's great. It's full of puns.
Both are
Tomorrow-
perfect.
Tomorrow
Both
morning,
are perfect.
11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have edited by our very own Sarah. The Pirates of the it's our Voyage of the Black Cherry, 9th voyage with Dirty Hank from Pirates of the Salt Bay.
Yep.
So go check that out tomorrow morning. YouTube 2020.
It's so good that Skylar's chest and hair fades out of existence while he announces it.
There's also a moment. I ain't doing any spoilers, but there's a moment in that that's going to make you go, say what?
In which one?
the pirate adventure.
Okay, yeah, I feel like
A certain thing occurs, and I ain't spoiling it no more than that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was so much fun.
Oh, chat. That just means it hasn't finished processing yet. If it's listed as private, that just means it hasn't finished getting its all the way onto YouTube yet.
Yeah.
Just give it an hour or two and it'll fix. So with
It's because it was such great quality.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. You were waiting for 42 gigs to upload theirs.
Hey man, 8K. 8K.
8K TV, absolutely. It's in 3D. You just can't tell.
Yep.
It's all augmented reality.
So, yes, we are looking at on every week, Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays here, and then extra events as we go. And if you get bored doing that, come to the Discord and find out about all the other stuff we're doing. There's links in the Discord to all of our other channels and our other projects and all that sort of stuff. And I think, unless you got anything to add, Marty?
Nah, I think that's pretty much it for now. Damn. that's a
All
lot of
right.
stuff.
Well, then for the first time in season 2, we'll shoot you next week. Good night.
Sitting on a rock on the side of the road is a bugbear. Try to get by, none shall pass. There's a bugbear.